views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of Bronxnet or the program underwriters.
Hello everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Cherry Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll give a special tribute and remembrance to our beloved Bronxnet family member, Marisa M. White. We celebrate her life and legacy and the impact she's left in our hearts. After that, we'll shift gears and learn more about the Bronx Documentary Center's 4th annual Latin American Photo Festival, showcasing award-winning photographers with larger-than-life photographs throughout the Melrose community. Then we'll speak to the creators of Cucarachita, Martina's musical adventure short film celebrating Puerto Rican folklore, music, and culture. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on Dominican pop singer Lee Burgos, who tells us about her upcoming project, followed by a performance of her new single, Travesura. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome. Today we open the show honoring the life and legacy of Bronxnet former Creative Service Director, Marisa M. White, who recently passed away on July 21st of 2021 at the tender age of 54. Marisa was a loving, comical, and tough nurturer who served as Bronxnet's intern coordinator and was later promoted to Creative Service Director. It is because of her, many young media professionals have made it into mainstream media. Marisa was one of the first people I met at Bronxnet back in 2005, second to Executive Director Michael Max Navi. Our relationship was one of sisters who fought but loved on each other. For in our differences, she always reminded me of how much I needed her, because she kept my flighty ways and thoughts grounded. She always provided me with mommy advice based on her being ahead of the game, in which I remain ever so grateful for. And we understood each other so well after so many years of being together that we could communicate solely with our eyes. My daughter referred to her as Zia, which is auntie in Italian, as they too had their own relationship, as you know, based on Charm Vida, practically being raised in the studio. Marisa made a difference in a lot of lives, and she will forever be missed. Please join me in sending intentional, massive love and light as we remember Marisa M. White. Rest in power, sis.
Marisa Massimino White. I was born and raised in the Bronx. Had the privilege of going to grade school, high school, and college in the Bronx.
You know, I want these kids to enroll in college and get to college, and then from there work on career development. For our college people that work with us and our interns, Our goal is to give them these skills so that they can get that entry-level job. How do you get a job without experience? How do you get experience without a job?
We want these kids to go to college. We want these kids to have professional careers. We want these kids to say, I grew up in the Bronx, I went to school in the Bronx, I got trained in the Bronx, and look at what I've accomplished.
Beautiful, beautiful area to grow up in.
Beautiful, great, safe neighborhood. We knew everybody growing up.
I can hear God more clearly than in any other place. The sense of divine presence is very strong. So it depends on what you believe. I definitely think that there's something to that. If you believe in energies and you believe that your spirit is an energy, that there is somewhere that they can connect. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I really am. But I'm happy that I'm leaving you guys where you are because I like I said, I feel like it's a solid. I'm leaving you in all in a solid place. And you've all done great things.
Love you.
We built a media network for you.
Bronxnet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on Bronxnet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. Bronxnet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
Bronxnet.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. The Bronx Documentary Center is holding its 4th annual Latin American Photo Festival featuring award-winning photographers from Colombia, Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Venezuela, Peru, and El Salvador. The festival showcases large-scale photographs throughout the Melrose community, displaying a variety of long-term projects focusing on social issues. And joining us to tell us more about the festival, along with the upcoming panel discussions, please welcome Latin American Photo Festival Curator Michael Kamber, photographers Carlos Saavedra, and Andrea Hernandez Briceño. Hello and welcome.
Hi. Hi, Rhina.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. I understand, Andrea, está llegando desde Venezuela. Carlos, I know you're representing Colombia, but you're here in New York, right?
No, I'm in Bogota, actually.
You're actually in Colombia, too? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Look at that. This is the beauty of us operating virtually.
Yeah.
So I do want to open up with you, though, Mike, because you are the curator, and you're here in New York, right?
Actually, I'm not. I'm up in Maine at the moment.
Oh my goodness! Everybody, well, you know, it is the summer, so we're all entitled to be in our original hometowns, we'll say, right? So that being said, there was this wonderful display that just exhibited, rather it's still on exhibition at Melrose in the Bronx, and you've done this already 3 years in a row. This is the 4th year, and there are these beautiful images. Let's just share with everyone how I guess you choose the photographers as well as the topics and how it relates to the community.
Yeah, I did this with Cynthia Rivera, who's the co-curator, and you know, we got a lot of photographers from previous years to recommend the people that they would like to see in this year. So you know, it's very influenced by the people who are in Latin America, who know what's going on, who know who's doing the great work down there. And we got a lot of submissions and a lot of recommendations, and we narrowed it down to the work that we felt was the strongest. It was a tough year, to be honest with you, because A lot of the work, it's been a tough year with COVID, and then politically, it's been a tough year in a lot of places and a lot of violence. So to be honest with you, it was a difficult curation, but we tried to find something that was, you know, upbeat and also kind of got at some of the problems that are going on.
Well, upbeat, I don't know. Upbeat. Some of these topics are like really, I mean, my heart was hurting. And I will say that there is that conversation that needs to be had. And I've always considered photographers to be communicators and as well as historians. And Carlos, I want to talk to you about the topics that you've captured and this social cleansing that's occurring in Colombia that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, this is something that has happened historically. Like, it's basically because of the lack of government in many places. It is a very centralized way of governing, so I mean, this is where the government doesn't go. So these places which are in the outskirts of Bogota and in the outskirts of various cities have sometimes to take measures into their own hands. So it's like kind of a vigilantism in order to create some sort of order in specific communities. So this has happened historically. This has happened with guerrilla groups. It has happened with paramilitary groups, happened with the policemen in some certain cases, army, and it continues to happen in places where it has been very complicated situations, as we talked before. Yeah.
And I want to come back to you after we introduce Andrea's topic, because I was a little blown away with the fact that they're actually regulating based on eliminating and it's marginalized. But we're going to come back, okay? Because I want to introduce Andrea's situation, rather her topic in choice of capturing that has to do with Venezuela's food insecurity.
Yeah. Hi, Rhina.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much. Actually, my body of work is called Mango Season, and it has this name because it began with the pandemic, and the pandemic began with the mango season. And right now in Venezuela, this season is very celebrated because of food insecurity. Since we have a crisis, and now the pandemic sort of made it a crisis within a crisis, then there's a lot of people that eat like twice a day maximum. I think that's at least 1/3 of Venezuelans, according to UN data. And what I wanted to capture was how instead of doing it like we usually do, which is very harsh and rough imagery, I tried to capture the creativity of Venezuelans and how we can, or Venezuelans in general can obtain food in spite of everything. Because now we also have fuel shortages, so food distribution is very hard. So I traveled along the coast of Venezuela to see how people were doing this in their own villages. And yeah, that's
I see the image of a horse, right? And which of course comes back to nature, because I know a lot of your storytelling is about coming back to the roots. And then this young boy carrying what we call in Puerto Rico quenepas. What do they call it in Venezuela?
Mamones, but
Mamones?
in Mexico it's a weird word.
Yeah. No, but again, the idea is that these images are evoking some form of conversation related to social issues abroad. And so now I want to come back to you, Carlos, because the image of the woman with the cross on her head for Ash Wednesday, what it did for me, and this is just getting to know you all, is it made me question whether she was looking for salvation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that woman is called Paola. She's a transgender activist here. And the way that, and she's been in many social cleansing campaigns. So the way that they do it, they put lists on the walls, and she's been in so many of them. And I've been working with her for the past like 5 years, kind of. And yes, and one thing that is, I think that image is really strong as well is like there is such a huge connection between violence and superstition and religion in the situation here. Like it always goes hand in hand and it mixes together with, and usually like people who are the perpetrators or are the victims cling on to this, to beliefs which are like more than just like the physical world. And I think this happens in many wars, like World War I, and it's just a way of dealing with so much death and so many complicated scenarios.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge you both for being a voice of your homeland, and capturing it in the way that you've done. And so before we go, Mike, I want to leave it with you. I want to close out with you just sharing a little bit about the other photographers before we go, because while we're talking about these serious topics, they're not all that serious. However, I really appreciate the fact that there is this awareness that's being brought into a neighborhood that may consist of residents from Latin America.
Yeah, all of our neighbors. I mean, our next door neighbors are from Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, Colombia. So our whole block, our whole community is obviously Latino, being in the South Bronx. And they're very closely connected to these issues. Some of them have come to the Bronx actually to escape this violence that we're talking about and to escape some of these issues and trying to find sanctuary. So yeah, the community is very closely tied to it. We did show work from Chile, from police violence in Chile. We did also show some upbeat work from Colombia and other places. So there are some things that are more beautiful and a little more soothing, but it's been a very tough year. And but we still felt, our neighbors came out, they thanked us. They said we enjoy seeing the work and interacting with the work. And also we brought 4 of the photographers to New York, and so they spent time in the community. They talked to students, they talked to community members. So there was a real intercambio, a real exchange there.
Beautiful. And then of course, they're larger than life-size photos that people can just walk through Melrose to experience.
Exactly. We always put them outside as much as possible. So I think we have 5 or 6 exhibitions. They're outside, they're on the walls, they're on huge vinyl banners that are 30, 40, 50 feet long. So people can interact with them as they move to work. And that's very important to us.
Yeah, and then before we go, really quickly, I understand you're going to have some panel discussions, and I'm just saying this so in case somebody's watching who wants to learn more about the photography, the basis of the photography, the storytelling, the choices, the issues that are happening abroad, because at the end of the day, what this showed me in experiencing them is that we're all in this together. We're all in this together.
Exactly. We'll have a great panel discussion on the 30th, which will be on Zoom, and Andrea, who is here with us, will be there. On the 31st, we have Rodrigo Apt, who's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He'll be doing a discussion, and then we have another one on August 1st. So all 3 nights, you can go to bronxdoc.org, click on events, and there will be links to those discussions. So please join us.
Thank you, Mike Kamber, Andrea Hernandez, Carlos Saavedra. Thank you all for being here with us. And you guys, once again, for the BDC Latin American Photo Festival, that's going to be on display until August 1st. It's in the Melrose section of the Bronx. And if you're interested in more and in participating in the panel discussions, all you have to do is visit BronxDoc.org. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to learn about a classic called Cucarachita. So don't go anywhere.
It's called Stage Garden Rumba. Here in this farm situated between the Metro North and the exit from the Deegan Expressway, the Burgos Theater teamed up with Nos Quedamos, or We Stay, and Military Tucker Concepcion's Bombazo Dance Company to sponsor a celebration of the outdoors, culture, and heritage here at La Finca del Sur, located at 138th Street and the Grand Concourse.
We highlight green spaces in the Bronx and the activists and artists who choose these spaces as the places where they gather and they exchange with each other ideas, art, and perform for each other.
And it's not just this garden.
We are doing a tour of all the different gardens of the South Bronx that host communities to plant, to gather, and to communicate with each other as we continue to become stronger during the pandemic.
A pandemic that shut down New York and last year canceled countless art performances throughout the city, and now Burgos Theater is making up for that. Celebrated actress and poet Caridad de la Luz, or La Bruja, was invited to curate the poetic contribution to the program, inviting Bronx spoken word artists that performed despite the gray skies and downpour.
We're getting rained out, but our poets and activists and musicians have been, are here.
An activist who's contributed to the preservation of Latin and Bronx culture, she sees what's happening here a continuation of that work.
It's my life. And so, I love to do it. And I learn every day as I go along, and I teach what I know, and it inspires my work.
Once again, Stage Garden Rumba continues through September. For more information, you can go to pregones, PRTT.org. For Bronxnet, this is Arlie Makoko.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guests created their own rendition of the classic Cucarachita, and theirs is the Cucarachita Martina musical adventure, a short film celebrating Puerto Rican folklore, music, and culture. The film was inspired by Pura Belpere's classic picture book, Perez and Martina, a Puerto Rican tale which tells the story of beautiful Martina, who is wooed by sneaky Señor Gato, whiny Señor Pato, proud Señor Gallo, sass Señor Grillo, chatty Señor Sapo, and gallant Señor Perez the Mouse. The short film has been featured in Cine Youth Festival, as well as the Tribeca Film Festival. It has now rendered an Emmy nomination. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome film writer and author, Dr. Raquel Ortiz, along with the director and animator, 6-time Emmy-nominated journalist Waldo Cabrera. Hello and welcome. Bravo to you both. It's so good to have you on.
Well,
It's great to be here.
Well, it's fantastic. I'm looking at you and I'm looking at your background, and you fit perfectly into the animated film. I mean, we need to put you into the sequel.
I'd love to be a part of your sequel. I mean, I just love this whole concept. Let's just share with everyone a little of the history behind this classic folklore tale. I'll just leave that to La Doctora, who is our historian, to just give our audience a little background on it.
Sure. All right. So folk tales are the story of our people, of the people, and they tell what's important to us, what we celebrate, and they give us messages. So Cucarachita Martina is known throughout all of Latin America. And we have a number of Puerto Rican authors that have done different adaptations, their own versions. Pura Belpere was the first one to have it published in the United States back in 1932. And like you said, even in the title, a Puerto Rican folktale with the O, because back then, Puerto Rico.
I think they said it like that so that they could get it, but they got to know in order to know, right?
Which they don't know, but that's another interview.
But that's why we're educating them.
Right. So Pura was a warrior, a librarian, and an educator, and an activist for bilingual education and literature, and one of our heroes at Centro.
Right, and so you both work at Centro, the Puerto Rico, right? The Center, the Puerto Rican Studies Center, the Puerto Rican Center for Studies of Puerto Rico.
Center for Puerto Rican Studies.
The Center. I went to college. I got that part right. And so Waldo, you know, I introduced you as a 6-time Emmy nominated journalist, and I mean, I did. We don't have the time to go over your entire resume, but we could share with everyone that you now have, I think, your own programming, right? It's called Light TV, and so you did this animation. You also work with Centro. So let's just talk about this partnership that you both have.
Well, the wonderful thing that Centro didn't know about me is that I was the creative director for the team that brought Pokemon to the United States. So I have an entire lifetime working in children's entertainment, and children's animation, children's entertainment is near and dear to my heart, and is honestly what I prefer to do. So when the opportunity came up to do an animated version of this story, I raised my hand and I said, listen, I think I could do a good job. You know, I didn't want to say, well, you know, remember Pokemon? I didn't want to be like big timing anyone, you know, but that was, it was important for me to do something like this, because so many of our tales that we see on television, they're Eastern European based tales. And this one is right in on it. It's from our neighborhood. It's from our people. So I jumped at the opportunity to be part of it.
Well, what a blessing that you come with those skills, right? And that you're well experienced in it, right? It wasn't experimental. And so while you know, Raquel, I mean, I can totally see your stories becoming animations, right? That's I know, I see it. But it's just really refreshing to see the accolades that you're already receiving. I do want to say I watched you both on the on ABC for the National Puerto Rican Day Parade. I love that they actually hosted it at El Centro, and I understand that El Centro also has a new interim executive director. And then there's this new energy coming behind the center, and now you guys being nominated for this Emmy for something that was created to educate people.
Right. No, it's a really, really fun time. And I think one of the most magical things is my mother loves this and Waldo's daughter loves this. So we have 5 and, you know, a little bit older than 5 and everywhere in between. So we have this beautiful intergenerational moment where we're celebrating ourselves, we're celebrating our stories. We have, you know, children and grandmas with the same kind of language, and it's fun. You know, it's so much fun to watch it and to sing along. And the art that Marisa did the art for us, it's gorgeous. The Smile Guevara who made the music for us, it's beautiful. Mario Mateo did all of these crazy voices with Alejandra Ramos, and just a beautiful team making a beautiful product that we're having so much fun celebrating it and sharing it.
Yeah, you're both radiating. So Waldo, how long is the film and where can people watch this?
Well, the film is it's 16 minutes, and it's actually part of becoming a cultural ambassador. So we have Cultural Ambassador Junior, a program where we want our youth to learn more about their Puerto Rican history. So you could just sign up at centropr.hunter.cuny.edu. And you go in there, you just sign up to become a cultural ambassador, and you get access to see this film free online. And you get to also see a lot of other documentaries that we put together. But what I wanted to add on to what Raquel just said is that when we started doing this before the pandemic kicked in, but it came we went into full gear with it during the pandemic. And, you know, and my thing was, I didn't want to create a book reading where someone sits there, opens a book and goes and flips a page. So I said, you know, we need a budget. You know, we really want to be able to do this, and you know, and Pura Belpre is so important to Centro that we need to go all out. And so they gave us a bit of a budget, and we hired some really great talent, and everyone overperformed because they loved this so much. Everyone just went out, and they did it mostly out of absolute love for the craft and for the concept that and the reason why we're doing this together. It was more than just a professional thing. There's a lot of passion behind it, and it obviously shows in the final product.
and memories. They shared with us their childhood memories. Alejandra talked about her birthday where they had Cucarachita Martina as the theme. Desmar spoke about acting as Ratoncito Perez. So this isn't something we made up like, oh, we like it and it's cool. No, this is something that's super, super everywhere in Puerto Rico. And a lot of kids in the diaspora didn't know about it. So now we're happy that we can share with our brothers and sisters on the island this story.
And pass it forward. And so how long did the whole thing take you to make? How long did the whole thing? I mean, you're saying that this was done over the pandemic and people got to know each other and you shared stories. So what was that process like?
It was a little choppy. I'll say the first part. It had already been started in our Pura Vepre documentary. They had used some of the illustrations and used Pura's voice to narrate the story, the original story. But do you know the original story? There's not a good ending. so I saw the pieces and then I pitched to our director at that time, Hernandez, to make it a standalone piece because I just felt the art was so strong and the story was so great. But it took a while. Waldo, do you even remember how many years? It was start go.
That must have been 5 years ago.
It really was.
The documentary came out and that those characters were first, they did their cameo presentation, and then the project sort of stood there and we were working on it, and just before it was June last year when they finally said go for it, hire everybody, go do it. So it was June last year where we got the official green light to go ahead and produce, and that's where we started doing the voiceovers. The script was already written, you know, and then Desmad wrote the music. So it basically took about 9 months because we were done, well, 6 months because we were roughly done by December. We were done by December. And then after that, it was just minor upgrades and minor fixes here. But it took from, well, good 6 months, 6 solid months of hard work.
Well, look at it. It was all worth it. And now you're up for an Emmy, aside from the archival purposes and for passing it forward to the next generation in a more modern, I guess, fashion. The fact that it's being nominated for an Emmy and that you guys are now going to get to go, well, you know, Waldo, your experience with the Emmys, you're 6-time nominated, better you get to go for an animation this time. And so when is the Emmys?
Well, right now we're trying to decide. There's a lot of a concern about the pandemic, so they're making plans for the end of September, maybe the start of October, and they're being rightfully so. They're being careful just because we have this new Delta variant, and you know, and the most people, the people that are most in the know are folks in the news. That's us in the media. So right. they're being a little hesitant, and hopefully we will get a final answer soon. As to whether or not we're going to have a live event, which is usually at the Marriott Marquis in the middle of Times Square.
Right. But needless to say, it's they're aiming for September of 2021. And on behalf of all of us here, we want to congratulate you both on your nomination, Dr. Raquel Ortiz and Waldo Cabrera. And you guys, if you want to watch it so that you know what you're rooting for, you can go to that I'm referring to, of course, the Cucarachita Martina musical adventure film that was created by these two. You can visit centropr.hunter.cuny.edu. All right, don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
Rapper and huge fan Drake is going to have his hands full trying to incorporate this name, Giannis Antetokounmpo, into his latest song. After all, hoops champions have often made the cut for Drake. The Greek Freak and the Milwaukee Bucks are the latest. We begin our 5-on-5 with the NBA champions. I said it last week on the show, the finals weren't done. Even though Phoenix opened with 2 straight victories, the Bucks closed the series with 4 in a row, highlighted by a memorable Game 6 performance from the finals MVP himself. The Greek Freak nets 50 points, hauls in 14 rebounds, and adds 5 blocks in a 105-98 win, delivering the Bucks their second championship as a franchise and first in 50 years. The last one came when New York City great Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was the big man at the center of it all. We go inside the locker room for the star of the hour this time around.
I started playing basketball just to, help my family. Try to get them out of the struggle, the challenges we were facing when we were kids. But man, I never thought, I'm going to be 26 years old, with my team, playing the NBA finals, just playing. And I was just happy just being a part, not even winning, just being a part of this journey, but I never thought ever when I'll be 26, I'll be sitting in this chair with this right here and this right here. Man, it's been we've come a long way.
Well, maybe never in his wildest dreams, but crazy things happen in sports all the time. That's good enough to headline number 5 on the front end. And since we are sticking with never in your wildest dreams as the theme here, how about the U.S. men's basketball team at number 4? The win streak is over. Never in my wildest dreams. We've moved so far away from the dream team, folks. France beats Team USA. To them, beating the United States again wasn't really a surprise either, and that might be the biggest indicator yet that the Americans, even after 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals, are no longer feared by other top international teams. A 25-game Olympic winning streak for the U.S. is over, ending Sunday when France closed the game on a 16-2 run to beat the Americans 83-76 in the Tokyo Games. We shift gears to baseball, where the Mets have added a nice veteran to their pitching staff before the trade deadline, acquiring lefty Rich Hill. Here's more with the newest Met.
I was a little surprised, I think, with the trade, but after talking, with Eric Neander and Kevin Cash and understanding where they were going as an organization, and it made sense. And coming here to be a Met, this is something that's it's just a great honor, and looking forward to it. We're in a great position to do some things this year, and the main goal is to win the World Series. So continue with those winning ways.
The Amazons have had a knack for magic this season so far. Jeff McNeil talked about slugger Pete Alonso and the atmosphere at Citi Field, both in the dugout and in the clubhouse, which is translating into success for the club in the win column.
It's a lot of fun, and I think when Pete comes up in that situation, I'm beginning to expect a home run there. I mean, he's been swinging the bat really well, and is a big situation. I think he saw it lefty pretty well the other day. So it's always fun watching him hit, and he's just a tremendous hitter, and just love watching him do his thing.
Meantime, the Yankees just can't seem to solve their rivals, the Boston Red Sox. They dropped another series last weekend, the latest at Fenway Park. And what makes this one even worse are all the meltdown games between the Yankees and the Red Sox for the Yanks this year, like Sunday's no-hitter in the 8th for the Yanks that ended up becoming a come-from-behind win for the Sox. Here's more from the Yankees clubhouse.
Really tough one, obviously. Domingo was terrific. A tough one that we've got to get past, and obviously heading into an off day and a huge series coming up with Tampa. But yeah, another extremely tough one. These guys have handled and dealt with adversity. We've dealt with it in this series and bounced back, and I know we'll do it again.
I mean, it's a tough one for sure. Especially playing against a good team who's on top of the division. You want to, try and get any win you can. But at the end of the day, it's baseball. Those things happen. We got to find a way to bounce back. We still got some big games coming up.
in Tampa and on the rest of this road trip. So again, an unfortunate loss, but got to turn our attention to what's ahead.
In at number 1 on the front end of 5-on-5, some better news for one of our favorite racing series. IndyCar and NBC Sports announced a multi-year extension of their media rights agreement. NBC Sports will continue to be the exclusive home of the Indianapolis 500, the greatest spectacle in racing, and will provide coverage of all NTT IndyCar Series races. The NTT IndyCar Series will see a significant increase in network exposure in 2022, with 13 races broadcast on NBC. Here's the latest.
We're very excited about it. We think it's a growing property. Our numbers following this year's Indy 500 were the highest since 2016, the 100th anniversary. The overall ratings growth, 30% year over year of IndyCar. You don't see a lot of sports throwing up that kind of increase anywhere. So we felt very fortunate that we were with the right partners and with the right people.
There are 5 stories that you may have missed. We'll count up to 5 on the back end, of course, of 5-on-5 as we focus on the weekend and the week ahead here on Bronxnet's Open. In at number 1, the Yankees, coming off a key series with Tampa Bay, will be in Miami to face Derek Jeter's Marlins this weekend. The Bronx Bombers need all the wins they can get in a tight American League East. August looms very large in the playoff race for the Bronx Bombers. The Mets are home to face Cincinnati this weekend. They grabbed the 2 spot here on the back end of 5-on-5. The Reds have 50-plus wins themselves, and like the Mets, are fighting daily in a tough division in the National League. The Milwaukee Brewers have been absolutely amazing. Must be something in the water in Milwaukee this year. At number 3, UFC Fight Night goes down Saturday night. Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland headlines the evening as the 2 middleweights square off in the main event. Some great cards of late courtesy of the UFC. In at number 4, Formula One is back on the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix this Sunday. A dramatic and controversial British GP has ignited the title fight between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, both in terms of the drivers involved and in the standings too. F1 can't miss TV this weekend, 9 a.m. this Sunday on ESPN. And last but certainly not least, the final week of the Olympic Games in Tokyo will be underway. The action goes through August 8th. Try and sneak in some of those games this weekend. Go USA! In this C-list, we celebrate the life of someone very dear to us at Bronxnet. These days have at times been very difficult to process. Life as we know it is slowly coming back, but at the same time you realize so much has changed. Here at Bronxnet, we love creating and being part of your communities. We live in these communities. They are home to us as much as they are home to you. The people behind these lenses are what make your voice and your views come to life. They are also the guiding light for future generations through our programs that not only teach how to make TV, but provide real-life opportunities for so many to do so. It is with great sadness that we say goodbye to Marisa White, a champion of what makes Bronxnet, Bronxnet. She passed away last week at the very young age of 54, another casualty of cancer. Marisa helped so many aspiring students start their careers in this very difficult industry. She was an incredible mentor and most recently a professor at Lehman College right here in the Bronx. She helped this sports guy find his way, and the same with the gentleman editing this video, Chris Pusateri. She was a longtime producer and director of Bronxnet, going on to win an Emmy for Best of Bronx. Away from the studio, she was also a great mom and wife, leaving behind 2 daughters and her husband. To us, she was not only great at making TV great, but she was an amazing friend. You see, when you create art, you touch the lives of so many. That impact is even more reaching when you add in the component of teaching art. Marisa, we'll miss you dearly, but we know your spirit lives on through all of us. I'm Bobby C.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a singer and songwriter from the Dominican Republic whose musical influences range from various cultural backgrounds and legends such as Aretha Franklin, Lauren Pausini, and Lauryn Hill, to let's just name a few. And in 2019, she released her critically acclaimed debut compilation album, Lee Burgos Unplugged, and headlined her own sold-out concert titled The Lee Burgos Experience. And today she's joining us to discuss her upcoming project, as well as her new single, Travesura. Everyone, please welcome Lee Burgos. Hi.
So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you and share, everyone, this amazing trajectory that you've accomplished in such a short period of time. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. You know what I say, Rhina, when you do things with love and with passion, people see that. So, and things just, you work hard, you give it all, an everyday thing. You give it all every day, you wake up, you go in hard, and people, it's cause and effect. People will see it, and I've been blessed. So yeah.
You sure have. I mean, I saw that you attended the New York Hispanic Film Festival, the New York Latino Film Festival.
Latino Film Festival.
It's the New York Latino Film Festival. I also understand that you've opened up for Grammy winners.
Yeah. 4,000 people tonight, 4,000 people tomorrow. Oh my God, you don't know where to look. So many people, get all that adrenaline in. It's been a journey. It's been lovely. So far, so good.
So, let's just give everybody a little insight as to what your background is, right? Because this is a dream you've had for a very long time. Yeah. And the fact that you have had this amazing opportunity to open up for people such as Manuel Medrano and Vicente Garcia and all these Billboard top-selling Latin artists. Let's talk about you.
What can I tell you? It's been a dream all my life, since I was a little girl. I came here with my parents and my family at the age of 4. And I've always been that cliche of an artist, the one that always sang in the family reunions, the one that was only very silly, and they supported even my quirkiness, they always been so supportive of me and my ways, and nothing. Yeah, when you have the support of your family, for me, family is everything. So for me, they are my inspiration, and thanks to them, I'm able to do this every day. And yeah.
But you're also a songwriter. So where do you
Yes, I am.
Right. And so that's the other component, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just you being a singer and an entertainer. You're actually a songwriter. And so you got I know you have this amazing project that you've got me like on lockdown that we can't talk about. What can you share that has served you within the pandemic to launch this new project that's coming?
Well, for me, songwriting, for me, songwriting, it's a level of, obviously, of expression and of desahogo, It's a way for me of release, my thoughts or my friends' experiences. I have amazing friends. I have a great family. And songwriting through the pandemic was my way out through things. We didn't know what was going to happen. We thought we were going to...
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen. But for me, songwriting was everything. It's so incredible how I finished this whole EP that is coming in the fall, God willing. How the pandemic and knowing and living in the now pushes you through take care of things. Like, no, you have to release this. No more overthinking on this song. This song is perfect. Do it, release it. So the pandemic was one of those things that really cleared my mind and made me stronger, made me believe more, and no doubts, less doubts. And, if I've done all these things, I've opened for these amazing artists, and I've been given so many opportunities. So there's a reason why. So why not release this EP and let's just do it? You never know. The world could end tomorrow. But yeah, the pandemic was one of those things that actually pushed me. to give it all and be like, you know what, forget it. Don't overthink and release this music because people are waiting for more. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations
you.
on that clarity, right? Because that's what you convey right now. You're like, I'm clear. I know exactly what I want. And you know what I like about it? You have your own style. And even though you sing in Spanish, people can appreciate it in the pop market, like in the English pop market.
Yeah. And for me, that's so important. You know how beautiful, I always say that when I'm performing live, you know, like the beauty of music, it's not about the language, it's about that feeling in your heart. You know, music heals. And the fact that sometimes when I do my Spanish songs, I do Spanish and English. And when I do the Spanish song on an English audience, people that speak English only, and you see them connecting, for me, that is powerful. And that's my main goal. When I go up on a stage, for me, to connect is my main goal. I just want you to have an experience with me, you know, through the stories of my songs and the ones that I borrow, you know, so for me, that's very important.
And so before we go, I know we're going to give everybody our own version. I know you're going to perform unplugged for us.
Yes,
Travesura.
I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
So let's just give everybody, I guess, really quickly a little insight as to about Travesura.
Travesura, it's a hell of a song. Oh my God. You know, I when I wrote Travesura, I wrote it with my producer. And when we were writing it, it was about the experience that you have with the person that you are attracted to, that feeling of this is how you make me feel when we dance together. So it's all that playfulness and all that good vibe. And you'll hear that New York sounds in there, the classic pop with the new pop. And it's just delicious.
Oh,
so I hope you enjoy it. I hope all of you enjoy. I hope you really enjoy this song.
Well, thank you for bringing it here to us, everyone. Lee Burgos. And, you know, we got to take a quick break, but when we return, she's going to perform it. That's right.
Stay tuned.
Here, we got Lee Burgos performing her single, Travesura Unplugged, para nosotros. Don't go anywhere.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome back here now to perform her new single, Travesura. Please welcome Lee Burgos.
Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo. Báilame despacio y suavemente. Dispárame de frente que quiero saber cómo se siente el caliente de tus besos. Cuando tú me bailas, sí, aumenta mi temperatura, pero qué locura. Yo sé que has tenido varias cuerdas, baby, pero como yo ninguna, como yo ninguna, como yo ninguna. Baby, tú me llevas a la luna, báilame pegado sin censura, qué ricura. Esta noche no vamos en travesura, como yo ninguna. Baby, tú me llevas a la luna, báilame pegado sin censura, qué ricura. Esta noche no vamos en travesura. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. No te quiero como amigo. Esta noche amanecemos bailando, baby. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. No te quiero como amigo. Esta noche amanecemos bailando, baby. Bésame despacio, bien lento. Yo no tengo miedo, tú sabes lo que quiero. He estado toda la noche pendiente de ti. Desde que te vi, me enamoré de ti. Cuando tú me bailas, sí, siento que pierdo el sentido, causas un desvío. Cuando tú me bailas, sí, de tu cuerpo y el mío, sabes lo que digo. Como yo ninguna, baby, tú me llevas a la luna. Bailame pegado sin censura, qué ricura. Esta noche no vamos en travesura. Como yo ninguna, baby, tú me llevas a la luna. Bailame pegado sin censura, qué ricura. Esta noche no vamos en travesura. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. No te quiero como amigo. Esta noche amanecemos bailando, baby. Así tú me pones cuando yo bailo contigo. No te quiero como amigo. Esta noche amanecemos bailando, baby. Move your body with me. Move your body with me. Move your body, baby. Move your body, Martin.
That's it. Lee Burgos music can be found on all musical platforms. For more info, visit leeburgos.com. Check her out on Instagram at Lee Burgos. And that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at Bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide us prosperity y amor. Adiós.